Hello, real estate professionals. Welcome and thank you for being with us. Hope everyone is doing well today. My name is Kurt Klaus, and I appreciate you taking the time to join us for today's edition of the Agent Advantage webinar series. These webinars are brought to you by the Guaranteed Rate family of companies and our Agent Advantage website. Today's webinar title: Mortgage 101, Loan Products for Real Estate Agents. And today is all about helping you be a better agent to your clients. You already know how to find properties for your buyers, but we want to give you a better understanding of the mortgage side of the business. We all know it is super competitive out there, the low inventory market that we are in right now, and everything you can do to help your buyers put together strong offers will hopefully result in you closing more deals. If you are not familiar with Agent Advantage, it is our proprietary no-cost website for agents all across the country to help you look good, to help you grow your business. It has all of our mortgage technology for both you and your clients. It has connections to an expert loan officer, a full loan status view if you have transactions in process. It has an entire marketing platform that's powered by Total Expert, and it includes a no-cost CRM with tons of marketing collateral plugged into it. Also, a coaching section with trainings and webinars like this one to help you improve and learn. Other topics that we have covered in the past: how to build social media content, how to create home video tours, lots of tips from successful top agents. All of those webinars are archived and they live on the Agent Advantage site on the coaching page. There is a version of Agent Advantage for each of our guaranteed rate companies: Guaranteed Rate, Guaranteed Rate Affinity, and Proper Rate. These webinars are brought to you by the entire family of Guaranteed Rate companies. Also, a quick mention, we have an Agent Advantage Insider Facebook page. That is all about promoting agent excellence. It is a closed insider Facebook page. It has content, real estate news, recorded videos, all information on any other upcoming live webinars that you can register for. To request to join the closed Agent Advantage Insider Facebook group, you can just search Agent Advantage Insider on Facebook or click that QR code that you're looking at on your screen right now to submit a request to join. So again, glad you're here. Before I bring in Dave, just a quick reminder, these are live webinars, so type your questions in the go-to chat. We'll try to reply to as many questions as possible. If not, we will for sure get to you after the webinar, but ask us your questions. We'll reply to those in real time. Go to the chat feature. We'll maybe get to some at the very end of the webinar. And remember, with this topic today, that each and every transaction is different. You're working with different buyers. Every situation is different. So we won't be able to get into every specific question on each circumstance you have. But again, love general questions on anything we're discussing today about the loan process and loan product knowledge for you and your buyers. So please give us your questions. We're not here to train you as a mortgage loan officer. The goal today, help you be able to talk to your buyers and get them in the best position to buy a home. So with that, I would like to introduce and bring in Dave Lopshire. He is our Senior Vice President of Sales here at Guaranteed Rate. He is a wealth of knowledge on the mortgage process and all of the products available. Hello, Dave. How you doing?
Hey, awesome. Thanks, Kurt, for the opportunity to visit with your agents again. This is a really fun topic, and I'm really excited to share a little bit of our knowledge and a little bit of our insights in this, as you said, crazy market right now. It's crazy. So hopefully we're going to give you some insight.
Happy to have you. Appreciate it.
Thanks. And I'll just echo what Kurt said, right? We're not trying to make you mortgage lenders, right? That's our job. But we want to be great partners and give you the best information to help your buyers win, because at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do, is get them into the best position to win each and every loan. All right. So as we go into this point of clarification, right? As Kurt mentioned, this is a general overview on loan products. Remember, every buyer is different. They all have some similarities and they have some differences, right? So our job as your lending partner is to identify those things. It's our job to figure out how to get them into the right program. We want to meet their short and long-term financial goals. We want to get them in the best position to buy a home. But by you knowing some basic product guidelines, you can help us point them in the right direction and get them off to a great start in the home buying process. So let's talk about pre-approvals. This is probably one of the first steps for your buyers, is to introduce them to your lender partner who can get them pre-approved. And as you know, as we mentioned, in many areas across the country, we're seeing multiple offers on homes listed for sale. Those buyers who have been pre-approved are in a better position, right, to get their offer accepted. You probably already have a great partnership with a lender. And if you don't, I might know a few. Okay, just to put that out there, right? Now, at Guaranteed Rate, we have this amazing thing called the digital mortgage. It's technology that couples with the expertise of our originators to make the pre-approval process really simple. And I want to stress the point that no matter how you get your buyers pre-approved, it is imperative that you do so before you put them in your car and go show them any houses, right? If we still do that. Think about this. At Guaranteed Rate, we can get a potential buyer pre-approved in a really short amount of time. And then when your buyer does find a home and wants to submit an offer, we can get updates to the pre-approval letter done in a matter of minutes, right? Also, sometimes you're going to be presented with a buyer who's not in a position to buy. Your lender partner can work with them until they are, and that way you're not wasting any of your valuable active selling time. So I cannot stress the importance of a pre-approval in every situation. All right. So I'm sure that you've dealt with home buyers in various stages of experience in the home buying process, right? The demographics of home buyers is rapidly changing. Millennial buyers, 22 to 30, they call those the younger millennials. Buyers 31 to 40, or the older millennials. Those are the largest share of home buyers. And I took that right off the latest NAR stats, right? But what I also found interesting in that report is that 82% of younger millennials and 48% of older millennials, right? And these are people who are 31 to 40 years old. They're first-time home buyers. And that's more than any other age groups. And the reason I bring this up is that many buyers who will approach you, or they're buying for the first time, and just as many are buying maybe only for the second time. So these buyers need a lot of hand-holding, a lot of instruction. You got to get them through the process. Your lender partner needs to get them through the process. And you know, what we know about these millennial groups is they're very anxious. They want instant gratification, right? Some of them go looking at homes before they determine that they're actually in a financial position to buy. So it's really critical that we think of first and second time home buyers just like we would if they were our own kids, right? Take your time, explain everything. That's what we do here as well. And then, unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there who are renting who actually could buy a home, but they're just afraid to do it, right? So remember, knowledge is power. And the more we get the word out to help these potential home buyers, the more we drop that fear and the more home buyers you're going to see. Now, as a lender, when we look at a buyer's ability to buy, we determine how much money they have for their down payment. We need to know how much money they can use for closing costs and fees, and then something called reserves. The buyer has to have enough money left over when everything's done to make 3 to 6 payments, right? So we also look at how much money they make versus how much money they need to cover their housing payment, their loans, their credit cards, their car loans, all that stuff. You're probably familiar with this. It's called debt to income ratio, right? Now, we also look a lot at their credit history. Credit scores are important, but so is what actually is in the credit report. So you need a good lender partner that can analyze that. And finally, we look at how much they want to pay every month. Their down payment coupled with their payment is going to actually help us determine how much home they can actually buy. Now, here's the 5 most common types of mortgage programs. Now, the most common are conventional mortgages, and they cover basically most all of your average buyer with your average home price. Conventional mortgages are commonly referred to by their provider, which you're familiar with, I'm sure, Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. Those are GSEs or government-sponsored entities. And then as we move down the screen, next are the adjustable rate mortgages. Now, ARMs provide some financing options for different types of financial situations. For instance, maybe your buyer wants to stay in a home for less than 3 to 5 years. They could actually take on an adjustable rate mortgage at a lower rate initially, and then by the time the rate comes up to market, they could have moved on, right? Most ARMs move yearly, and the amount they go up or down is built into the loan. But remember, as we've said, every situation is different and every buyer is different. So we really need to analyze that. Fixed rate mortgages are just what they say they are. The rate stays the same through the life of the loan. Now, over on the top of the right-hand column, government mortgage. Those are insured by the federal government. And these are loan programs that are designed to help more people buy homes. And I'll go through each type specifically in just a minute. And then every county in the United States has what we call a county loan limit. And if the home loan is going to go below that amount, we can go conventional or government. But if the loan is above that amount, we have to do what's called a jumbo loan, right? So when you think of jumbo, you're thinking about a bigger loan amount. And I'll break down each one of these types of loans. All right, as I mentioned earlier, conventional mortgages are the most common. And there's not a lot of limitations on conventional loans that we see on some of the other loan programs. And remember, these are loan amounts on a single unit property that is below $647,200 in most areas. $978,800 is the high cost states like Alaska and Hawaii. Now, one of the most common misconceptions on a conventional loan is that it requires a 20% down payment. That is absolutely not the case. In fact, I was talking to an agent the other day and they told me that they thought you could only go 3% down on an FHA loan. Nope. 3 to 5% down is minimum, right? And we think of that as a 95 to 97% loan to value. Now, if a borrower does put down less than 20%, they're going to be required to pay what's called PMI or private mortgage insurance. But once they obtain the 20% equity position, we remove the insurance requirement. And conventional mortgages do require a minimum credit score of 620. There are options on conventional for both fixed and adjustable rate mortgages. Conventional mortgages give us a lot of options for your buyers. Now, we talked about debt to income or DTI, right? There used to be a cap of 43 back-end ratio. That cap is long gone. In some cases, we can go above that as long as there are what are called compensating factors. And those are good things that will outweigh the not so good things in some cases. And again, every buyer is different, so we got to look at them, right? But I would say for most buyers, we look at conventional loan program first, and then if they don't qualify for that, we work from there. Now, another option that we have with conventional mortgages are gifts. And you can't use a gift on an investment property, but somebody who's buying a first or second home can receive a gift from someone related by blood, marriage, adoption, legal guardianship, right? And in fact, there are now provisions for getting a gift from a fiance or a domestic partner. In fact, the buyer can actually receive a gift for the entire down payment. Another thing that we're seeing a lot on conventional mortgages right now are appraisal waivers. These appraisal waivers are issued on properties that were previously financed using a conventional mortgage from Fannie or Freddie. So when we get that appraisal waiver, that means we don't have to get an appraisal at all. So that's going to save us a lot of time and a lot of money when we don't need an appraisal. All right, let's talk government loan programs now. And these are loans that are insured by the federal government, and they serve a particular home buying customer. First column, FHA. FHA provides several options for buyers who maybe can't qualify for a conventional mortgage. Center column is VA. VA loans serve those who have served our country in the armed forces. And then the right column is USDA loans. And those are for homes in rural areas across the country. So let's look at each type of these individually. So FHA is widely considered to be only for credit challenged buyers. And then again, that's not the case. That's a myth, right? There are many options when it comes to doing an FHA loan. And remember, there's a lot of veteran real estate agents out there who remember the days when an FHA loan was a last resort and a major pain to get done. Well, That's no longer the case. That changed a long time ago. So no longer a last resort, and FHA loans are just as easy to do as any other loan. Now, there are some requirements that we have to meet, but pretty easy to do. First, pretty low down payment requirement, but this also depends on their credit score. Conventional mortgages require a minimum score of 620. Most lenders will go down to a 580 on an FHA loan. And we do have some more flexibility when it comes to credit history on an FHA loan. We have options on gifts. In fact, they're a little bit more giving than Fannie and Freddie. So gifts on FHA loans. And again, the fewer restrictions help us out a lot. Also, there are many government agencies and organizations who provide down payment assistance programs. So we can couple those DPAs with an FHA loan. Now, an FHA borrower still has to meet some requirements such as debt to income and reserve. But again, a lot more flexibility with the FHA buyer. And speaking of flexibility, depending on the buyer's situation and the market, not only can we do a fixed rate FHA loan, but we have some FHA ARMs as well. And then I think one of the other great things for an FHA loan is for a first-time home buyer who maybe doesn't have a lot of credit. All FHA loans carry what is called MIP, right? Mortgage insurance premiums. That's similar to PMI on a conventional loan, but on an FHA mortgage, MIP is there for the life of the loan. And then finally, let me point out that there are some property requirements. A fixer-upper in rough shape probably is not going to work for an FHA loan because there are some livable requirements. But don't give up on putting your buyer in a fixer-upper. I'm going to share some ideas on that coming up in just a few more minutes. All right, let's talk VA loans. My favorite. One of my favorite types of loans because I'm going to tell you these are for people who have served our country, right? So let me share a strategy that I've done with every potential home buyer with whom I speak. One of the first questions I ask them, did either you or your spouse or anybody connected on this home purchase, did you serve in the military? And if they say yes, the first thing I respond with is thank you for your service, right? And then the next question I have for them is, have you ever explored your VA home loan benefits? And you will be surprised. Most of the people who have served in the military don't understand those VA benefits. And so it should be one of the first questions that you explore. Your lending partner can really help them understand to what they're entitled. Now, another myth around VA loans is that they're for retired military service members only. Not true, right? You could actually do a VA loan for a service member on active duty. So there's a lot of options for veterans. Now, we get something from the VA called a certificate of eligibility, which tells us exactly what they're entitled to on a VA loan. And the loan can be pretty complex, right? But our job as a lending partner is to make it easy for them to understand. And a lot has changed over the last few years. A VA loan is not restricted to government loan amounts. We can actually go up to $2 million on a VA loan. And remember, depending on their eligibility, a veteran may not have to put any money down at all, right? Now, there are closing costs and fees, but for the most part, a veteran can buy a home with very little money down. Here at Guaranteed Rate, we waive the lender fees on all of our VA loans, just one more way that we thank those who have served. Now, each VA loan requires a funding fee, but that can actually be financed into the loan. They can pay it up front or they can finance it in. The funding fee can be waived if the service member is on disability, by the way. And then another myth about VA loans is that the veteran can only use their benefit once. That is absolutely not the case. As long as we can prove their eligibility and that they can qualify, right, there's no limit to the number of times that they can use their VA benefits. Now let's talk credit. Most VA lenders can go down to a 580 credit score. Now, the VA is a little bit more particular on income and those debt ratio requirements. But again, if they tell you that they've served, get them to your lending partner right away so we can go to work to get them approved and in a position to take advantage of the benefits that they have absolutely earned. And one more thing I'm going to tell you about veterans. From a sales standpoint, veterans are extremely loyal. They're loyal to those who have helped them. They're loyal to those with whom they've served. I've received a lot of referrals from veterans to other veterans simply because we help them understand their benefits. So VA is a big part of what you should be looking for. Ask every buyer you meet if they've ever served in the military. All right, USDA, this is kind of a fun one. As I mentioned earlier, these are for homes that are in rural areas, mostly designed for people who are living in, densely populated metropolitan areas. And what the program is designed is to help them to be able to move into more rural areas. There's a lot of cool things about these USDA loans. They are designed to provide home buyers with lenient eligibility requirements, basically to help low to moderate income families purchase a home. And if you think about it, a lot of people are stuck in cities and they can't afford higher price properties. So they get stuck renting, right? But with the USDA program, we can get them out of the city and into rural areas where the prices are probably lower. Now, the USDA's definition of rural, it's pretty liberal. And you can find USDA eligible properties in small towns. You can find them in suburbs of big towns. You'd be surprised what meets the rural requirement. Now, the nuances of a USDA loan is that they don't require a down payment. They offer 100% financing, in other words, which obviously means lower out-of-pocket costs. Interest rates on these loans are very competitive. Credit requirements are a little bit more flexible, and the mortgage insurance premiums are a little lower than your standard FHA loan. So the first thing you should do when you're researching a listing presentation is to check to see if the home is eligible for a USDA loan. You can use the link on your screen, or you can just Google USDA eligibility. Now, the more options for your sellers that you provide, the more likely that you're going to win the listing, right? And as you're taking your buyers out and looking in what you think might be a rural area, find some of those listings out there before you go, research them on the USDA site, and see if they might be eligible for a USDA loan. All right, now we're going to move into the big boys, the jumbo loans, right? Those are the loans for properties that are above those county loan limits that I gave you earlier. Now, these are more expensive properties on which you can't do a conventional or an FHA loan, right? But there's still a lot of options for higher priced home buyers. A little shameless plug here, Guaranteed Rate is the largest non-bank jumbo provider of mortgages in the United States. Yeah, there are those who still believe you can only get a jumbo mortgage from a bank. That's not true, right? And by the way, you don't get to be number one without being really good at them. So your lending partner can be more specific with your buyer's eligibility. Here at Guaranteed Rate, we have programs where we can loan up to 95% loan to value on properties up to $1 million. We can go 90% LTV or 10% down up to 1.5 million. But I'm going to tell you, there's a ton of different options, too many to cover in this short amount of time that we have here. So depending on the financial situation of the buyer and their goals when buying the property, we need to explore their options because there's a lot of them, right? Now, if you see on the screen, the third bullet point is QM and non-QM. QM stands for Qualified Mortgage as defined by the CFPB. But think about it. Not every buyer fits into those parameters. So at Guaranteed Rate, we actually have some options for those non-traditional buyers. We call those non-QM loans. And most jumbo lenders offer fixed rate and ARM products. One myth out there is that it's harder to qualify for a jumbo loan. Not really, but affordability is obviously a factor. The higher the price requires either more money down or a higher payment, right? I'll stress again that every buyer has a unique situation, and your lending partner should meet with them early in the process to get them on the right track toward purchasing a home. All right, let's talk new construction. Now, some of you just went, new construction, I don't do that. I'm going to tune out. Don't, right? Because new construction is becoming more and more important for all of us now. Given the inventory issues that a lot of us are dealing with right now, new construction is becoming a lot more popular. A lot of agents don't tell me I don't deal with new, but you should. And I talk with a lot of builders who are looking for really good agents to help them sell their properties. Now I'm not talking about those giant mega builders. I'm talking about those builders who are out there building maybe a few hundred homes a year or less, right? They need help selling their houses. So we try to make it really easy for you to be able to get involved and help those builders sell those homes. In nearly every loan program I've talked about so far, we have options for new construction. The biggest feature we have is what are called extended lock options. At Guaranteed Rate, we have locks up to 12 months, right? You could lock in a rate for a year, which allows the buyer to have that rate in place while the builder builds the home. We also have options for escrow holdbacks, which are pretty important for new construction, right? Now, I also get asked about construction of perm. We do those, but there's not a lot of appetite for them right now. It's better to let the builders build and the buyers lock in until the home is complete. And if the market is better, by the way, when the home's ready, we have options to renegotiate the rate to a current market rate. So talk to your lender partner about what they can do for your new construction buyers. And again, helps us alleviate some of the inventory issues. Also, at Guaranteed Rate, we have an amazing program which is called Dream Bigger. And this program allows new construction buyers to hire a third-party contractor to do additional projects. Maybe their builder doesn't do a pool and doesn't, want to do an outside garage. Maybe they want to add a patio or rooftop deck or landscaping. Maybe their home builder doesn't do that. They can actually hire a third-party contractor and include the cost of the project in the mortgage. So it's a really cool thing. It's called Dream Bigger. New construction business could help you fill in some gaps in your business right now because of inventory issues. All right. Remember when I mentioned fixer-uppers or handyman specials? Well, we have loan programs that allow a buyer to purchase a home and then do some improvements to make that home their own. We've seen a lot of homes out there with that avocado green kitchen, right? Or maybe they have shag carpet. Well, renovation loans can help you market that home, believe it or not. I kind of equate this to being able to pick your kitchen cabinets or your countertops or your bathroom or your landscaping when you're actually building a new home, right? Same thing here with an existing property. The buyer can make their home their own by fixing it up the way they want it. Here at Guaranteed Rate, we have a couple of different options for renovation loans. We have an FHA renovation loan that's called a 203K. Same flexibility for borrowers with less money for down payments, some credit flexibility. We then have a Fannie rental program called Homestyle and a Freddie program called Choice. A lot of the same things that we talked about with conventional loans are the same with these loan programs, with the exception of the fact that it's built in with the option to improve the home. The best example I've seen of a reno loan was a buyer who absolutely had to have a 4-bedroom home, but they could only find a 3-bedroom house in the neighborhood and the school district where they wanted to live. So they bought the home with a reno loan and added a 4th bedroom. Pretty cool, right? Works out really well. Now, all of these renovation loan programs have flexibility with down payments, credit, ratios, reserves, all while being able to make those improvements. It's also an opportunity for existing homeowners to refinance and improve their current home. That could help you with some of the curb appeal, right? When you're trying to get the listing just right. So there's a lot of options there. And a lot of people think, renovation loans take forever. They don't. We can do these loans almost as fast as a regular loan. There's some complexities to them. So work with a good renovation lending partner like Guaranteed Rate. Also, here on Agent Advantage, we've done an entire webinar on renovation opportunities. So look for that recording here on the Agent Advantage website. I'm going to tell you there's a lot of really good stuff in that webinar. We talked earlier about the demographics of homebuyers, right? The younger groups want to be in the middle of the life, right? So condos are really growing in popularity for that reason. They're sometimes more affordable, actually, and provide all of the things metropolitan buyers are seeking. Most every loan program I've discussed can be used on a condo as well. Probably not USDA, though, because I haven't seen too many condos out in rural America. But most all the other loan programs have condo provisions. Condos do provide some opportunities for buyers, but they also provide some complexities for you, the agent, and us, the lender. Now, for buyers, not only are the condo prices usually a little lower than a single-family home, but they also have lower maintenance costs, right? You think about it, if you're in a condo, you don't really need to own a lawnmower because you don't have to cut the grass. So that's kind of a cool thing as well. And there's a lot of options with the building associations. Now, HOA fees can cover anything from building maintenance, like the grounds, the pools, the elevators, things like that. Some HOA fees can actually cover utilities and parking, right? So each building is different. So you have to research the HOA, which stands for Homeowners Association. Those are all in the building's legal history, which are part of their what's called condo docs, right? Now, some people think buying a condo is harder than buying a standalone property. It's not really. But we do have to meet some certain requirements, such as the number of condos in the building. We have to look at the number of financed versus rented units, what's inside the walls. We call that walls in requirements, warrantable and non-warrantable. So yeah, there's just some things we have to look at. Guaranteed Rate has become the industry leader in financing condos. We actually have a database in place that allows us to do a lot of the research up front when your buyer is interested in buying a condo. Okay, I couldn't talk about loan programs without talking about one specialty program that is very near and dear to my own heart. So my youngest is just graduating from medical school and will be doing residency in a new town. Instead of renting, buying a home is now an option right out of medical school, believe it or not, right? Oh, by the way, here's an opportunity for you. A few weeks ago, every fourth-year med school student in the country went through what's called match. It's where they match to a hospital where they will begin their first year as a doctor, right? Where they will be doing their residency. One of the big topics right now being discussed among these new doctors is finding a place to live in their new city of residency. Most of the medical school graduations are in May. Most start their residency in June. There's thousands of new doctors who need a place to live, and they're looking right now. So might want to look for that, right? Now, this loan program offered by Guaranteed Rate is designed for medical professionals. And I'm not just talking about new doctors. I'm talking about anybody with doctor in their title, MDs, DOs, dentists, chiropractors, even veterinarians, right? There are 14 different types of doctors who are eligible for this program, which this program allows eligible medical professionals to buy a home, listen to this, up to $1 million with zero down payment. Wow. They can go 5% down up to 1.5 million. That's pretty amazing, but it gets better. Despite the fact that they don't have to put any money down, there's no mortgage insurance required. That's huge, right? And then the program requires that they only have 2 months reserves. So that's 2 housing payments left over after the loan is closed. I kind of equate that to the same thing as first and last month's rent, right? And they don't have to give the money to anybody, right? So it's a really amazing program. Another key fact with this program is that we understand doctors have student loan debt, and there's some accommodations for that. The loan is an ARM, an adjustable rate mortgage. That presents us some creative cost saving. And then finally, you can buy a home as low as $100,000. So ask your buyer if they're a doctor, take advantage of this amazing loan program. You might want to also go through your entire database and find those past clients who are doctors, right? Because again, it's not just for first-time doctors, it's anybody who has doctor in their title. And by the way, we have a lot more really cool specialty programs that we can explore with you if you're interested in doing that. So that's an overview of the mortgage loan programs, right? Again, I'll emphasize the importance of working with a solid lending partner, but most important, get those buyers in the best position from the start to get their offer accepted. Pre-approved buyers move to the top in multiple offer situations. Pre-approved buyers backed by a great lender move even higher, right? So let your lending partner do the heavy lifting. And then also remember that most buyers are not only looking for the best buying strategy, but they want the best experience. So they're looking for the latest technology to facilitate that experience. Here at Guaranteed Rate, we pride ourselves in providing the technologically enhanced experience. But we never lose sight of the fact that all the technology in the world will never replace the expertise that you and your lender partner provide, right? It's that perfect balance of tech with the human touch. And you think about it, you and I, agent and lender, we're a team with a goal of not only building a relationship with those buyers, but doing such a great job for them that they'll lead us to other buyers, right? And we do such a great job for them that they're going to come back to us for all things related to real estate. So Kurt, thanks for the opportunity to spend some time with you guys today. Love to share the things that we're doing. And of course, we're out there to help you build your business. Always here to help.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. And it's so much more than just searching for and helping them buy the house and doing the transaction, but a way for the agent, the realtor, to provide so much more value. And it's the conversation with your buyers, as Dave said, not knowing if they are spouses in the military, not knowing about all the great options and programs, the renovation, can't find my dream home, we'll find one and make it your dream home. And even the niche ones like the doctor program. So lots of things for you, the real estate agent to be aware of to help get your clients, buyers to the finish line. Again, keep the questions coming in the chat. We will try to reply live with written responses, but I promise you that any questions we can't get to in this hour, we will reply to you directly to the email that you've registered to this webinar with. So thank you so much, Dave. Appreciate you sharing your knowledge and presenting for us. Dave is the best. We're grateful to have him on board. As a reminder to look out for our next Agent Advantage webinar, the topic, and Dave mentioned this, will be how to add more builder business to your repertoire and include new construction as an option for your buyers. It's a large and growing percentage of all new homes purchased today. Inventory's tight. Join us for our next webinar to learn the ins and outs, pros and cons, how to work with builders, and the entire new construction process. We will bring in our head of our National Builder Program, Jim Colella, will be joining us for that. That should be a good one. Please contact us with any of your feedback. If you need more information, if you have additional questions or comments, you can email us at agents@rate.com. We love to hear from you. And thanks again, Dave Lopshire, for our great presentation. And on behalf of everyone here at the Guaranteed Rate family of companies, thanks for joining this Agent Advantage webinar. Hope to see you on the next one. Have a great rest of your day.